Good morning, everyone. My name is Deirdre Denman, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator at EandM. Thank you for attending our webinar titled Remote Connectivity and Monitoring with HMS. After the webinar, we will be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, the chat box, or you can email us at webinars@eandm.com. I'd like to introduce your presenter for this morning, Alexa Balbuena, Product Specialist at EandM. Good morning, Alexa.
Hi, everyone. As Deirdre mentioned, I'm Alexa Balbuena, the Remote Connectivity Specialist here at EandM. Thanks for taking the time to join me in this webinar. I think we're just about ready to get started, Deirdre. Oh, all right.
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Today, I'll be talking about using remote access products to get a better handle on your machines and your factory floor. So especially now that a lot of us are working remotely, it makes it that much more significant that we invest in certain technologies that would ensure that our projects are running smoothly without us having to be there. So this is our agenda for today. I'll be covering tools that you can use to remotely access and control your machines, why you would want to do this, and a couple of neat little devices that can reduce the physical connections in your plant. The first thing I wanted to go over is why you would want to access anything remotely. I'm sure many of you are running into issues now more than ever in maintaining your workflow while being at home or anywhere that's not your factory floor. A lot of these issues stem from the lack of information or connectivity to your machines that are normally a walking distance away. Or in the worst case, something happens in one of your remote plants and you have unplanned downtime. The automatic solution would be to send someone over and diagnose the problem, and if possible, fix it immediately. But what if you can't? The tools that I'll be discussing in this presentation will alleviate a lot of these pain points presented in these scenarios. These devices will provide you with machine information that can then be used with predictive analytics for minimal downtime. If you knew how often a machine needs to be serviced or maintained, you can plan around it and reduce the overall cost incurred for that repair. These devices will also allow you to monitor your machines remotely if something does go wrong. Instead of having to send someone over and pay the brunt cost of travel expenses, an engineer can remote into that machine and diagnose the problem from where they are. These solutions would then allow you to save time and money expended on a maintenance that could be solved in a matter of hours instead of days. So these are the first two products that I'll be discussing today. These are our remote connectivity solutions, the eWon Cosy and the eWon Flexi. These two models have the same kind of end goal in mind with some slight differences in capabilities. Depending on the issue you'd want to address, one may be preferred over the other. The first product, the eWon Cosy, is an industrial VPN router. This unit will allow you to secure a remote access point to your machines via Talk2M, a cloud-based connectivity solution created for the eWon product line. Here, you can troubleshoot problem areas at different sites without needing to be there physically. This can include anywhere between debugging PLC programs, uploading projects, or remoting into your HMIs or IP cameras to make sure that everything is running as it should. These units would connect to your PLC in the cabinet at that remote location and then push the data to the cloud server for you to monitor. The Cosy 131 units have integrated Wi-Fi and cellular modems that provide internet connectivity while avoiding connections to the factory or LAN network. This ensures that the remote users don't have access to your local networks, but only the machines connected to the Cosy itself. The eWon Flexi takes everything that the Cosy can offer and takes it a step further. So this is a modular IoT Gateway, and it allows users to remotely access and control their machines. It's compatible with most major PLC protocols and OPC UA clients. This then allows for user configuration, opening capabilities in data logging and alarm notifications for preset instances. The main highlight to this device is its remote data capabilities. Here, you can read and collect machine data, such as number of cycles, alarms, KPIs, set points, and general consumption. that you can then push to a server of your choice. You can also view the machine in real time via customizable web dashboards. These dashboards can be set to show alarm summaries, history, data logging trends, and other relevant information. These can also be monitored via M2Web, an app service that allows you to interact with your dashboards on your smartphone or tablet. One of the main advantages of the Flexi is the variety of connections it supports. As you can see here on the base model, there are 4 RJ45 Ethernet connections with configurable LAN or WAN ports. For greater flexibility in connecting to your unit, there are a couple of extension cards available that support cellular, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, USB, serial, and digital I/O. Do note that by using an extension card, it opens up all 4 ports that you can see there to be used as LAN ports if needed. The cellular extension cards include 3G and 4G LTE options from major companies such as Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and other ones. Here's a quick summary diagram on some of the key features to the Flexi product. I'll be going over some of these in a little bit more detail in the following slides, but here's just a quick overview of it. So as I had mentioned before, the eWon Flexi is an IoT Gateway. This unit is compatible with all major PLC protocols and OPC UA clients. The image on the left shows a sample network hierarchy that the Flexi can be used in. The unit is attached to the machine via the HMI and PLC, which then connects to an OPC UA server that can allow you to access your machine information remotely. This also gives you control of your machines via the HMI connections. If there's a camera on site, you can see what's going on in real time and respond as needed from your office or anywhere else on the factory. This gives rise to increased management of your machines and quicker response times if needed. You don't have to be by the machine to diagnose any of the arising issues. Another key feature to the eWon Flexi is the alarm notifications. With this unit, you can set threshold values and other scenarios that will trigger an email or text message notification, which you can then send to yourself or your other factory workers. This makes it a lot easier to keep in touch with your machinery in all hours of the day. If your machine surpasses an operating temperature at 3 a.m., you'll know. If you exceed your normal power consumption due to a short, you'll know. Any preset instance that you need a fallback or immediate notice of, you'll know. You'll only need to input the relevant tolerances and the contact information you need to reach should these cases occur. Here's a sample of what the dashboard would look like to set up these alarms. As you can see here, you can set up an email message that'll differentiate what these scenarios are looking at. And then you also have SMS messages that you can send directly to your phone if these instances were to occur. The biggest difference between the eWon Flexi and the eWon Cosy is the data logging features. The Flexi unit supports 2 different kinds of data logging, real-time and historical tag data. These are a little bit more on the data acquisition and the local buffering. So for real-time logging, the Flexi tracks the most recent tag values in its memory. With this, you can monitor trends in your tag data in real time with a set logging interval across a set time frame. So this allows for a lot easier visualization on how your tags behave. The other type, historical data logging, is it stores tag information for longer and acts in a first in, first out basis in its flash memory. This can be triggered by large differences between tag values or like before in a set logging interval. You can also trigger it by a script program for more flexibility. And then going back to the alarm notifications, if there's a big difference between your tag values and the previous one, you can also set an alarm notification to notify yourself or your team if something does happen. So here's a sample record of tag information taken using the historical data logging features. All tag information is stored in one file for easy access and monitoring later down the line. These are different types of tag information here, but you can still pull a specific tag's data pretty quickly within the unit as well. The data logs using either operational mode can be seen on a customizable web page or included in an email alarm message notification. So for email specifically, if you want to have a graph of the trend line on how your tag is behaving, you can include it. Following that is a little bit more on the local dashboards that you can create with the Flexi unit. As I mentioned before, you can easily visualize your data on your devices using the M2 web app. So you can pull out your phone, your tablets, and things like that to be able to act as an HMI to your machine. So there were a couple of things that were floating around in terms of name. There was M2 Web and Talk2M. So this slide kind of shows what it looks like when you're interacting with it. Talk2M is essentially that cloud server that that allows you to have a location to push your data. M2 Web lets you access it on your smart device. So now we're going to focus a little bit more on the next part of this webinar, and this is going on to wireless connectivity. Here, we're going to be looking at a couple of key devices that offer solutions to operate in dusty areas, extreme temperatures, moving objects, and other hard-to-reach places. The first product, the Anybus wireless bridge, primarily focuses as an industrial Ethernet cable replacement. So this unit can create a wireless connection in a Profinet, Ethernet IP, Modbus TCP, BACnet, or any other TCP IP-based protocol via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth using the same hardware. There's also a wireless serial communication unit available in a different model type. So this wireless bridge can be configured to reach up to 400 meters free line of sight between each unit for wireless connectivity. As a pair, the Anybus wireless bridge can act as a wireless connection between two nodes for point-to-point communication. The wireless bridge can also function as an access point that can support up to 7 different clients simultaneously. So this gives an open opportunity for a mock RFID system wherein each client will have its own IP address that essentially acts as an identifier for the access point to use to differentiate between each unit. A sample case would be implementing a wireless bridge as an access point on a docking station, and the other moving parts, such as vehicles, boats, trailers, will each have its own bridge acting as a client. As you can see on the image here, there's a couple of products that were not discussed yet, so these are the parts that we'll be talking about next. This is the Anybus wireless bolt. So this product essentially functions the same way as a wireless Ethernet connection, but with an added capability to configure your machines. So this unit is typically mounted on your cabinet or machine and acts as an access point for your personal devices to connect to. So like before, the Anybus wireless bolt can support point-to-point communication via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and this can do up to 8 different clients simultaneously. The same thing with the point-to-point communication or the multi-access point. With the bolt, there's an increased safety with the ease of connectivity. So as you can see in these images, maintenance crews will not need to access your PLC cabinets to diagnose issues. They can wirelessly remote into that PLC cabinet using this device. Panels on communication towers are easily within reach from the ground with your own HMI for up to 100 meters away. So the main differences between the bridge and the bolt is the range. The bolt can go up to 100 meters. The bridge can go up to 400 meters. But this one kind of gives you remote access and control on your panels. So if someone was trying to open a cabinet, they don't need to, and kind of prevent any kind of arc flash hazards. So with that, here's a quick recap of the products that we discussed and the types of solutions they provide. I know it was a little bit to get through, but I hope I was able to introduce you to some of the key devices that may help with your wireless communication applications. I've added a couple of links here for the product brochures that you'll get once Deirdre sends out the presentation material. I believe she already has it uploaded on the chat, so you should be able to access these links specifically. A lot of the questions that I receive for these kinds of products, it's dealing with more so their specific applications. I want to be able to talk across this area. I want to be able to wirelessly communicate to my dock over there. A lot of these, if it is very application specific, I do recommend that you reach out to me directly. There's not a one answer fits all in a lot of these scenarios, mostly because of the different types of data that you're working with, the speed that you'd like, and the distances between each unit that you want to work with. But I am more than happy to receive any questions that you may have. So with that, I'm opening the floor to any questions that you feel would be kind of a general purpose question. But if you want something specific to see how it works with your application, I do recommend you reach out to me directly and we can discuss it in a bit better detail as well. And I'll hand it off to Deirdre to moderate some of the questions that we received.
Thank you, Alexa. So yes, we would like to open it up for a couple of questions. Please type any questions you have into the chat box, Q&A box, or you can email us at webinars@eandm.com. As you notice, as Alexa mentioned, the presentation is in the chat box, so you can click on that link and download it. Alexa, we have a question that came in. The question says, anything with a range of 1 kilometer? So I'm assuming this means one of the products by chance?
So for 1 kilometer distances, that's a little bit farther than what we can work with, but we can implement another device in the middle. So where I'm kind of seeing this is that you have 2 remote locations that you want to be able to use the bridge for. So that's 400 meters for the range. We can add a unit in the middle that acts as an extender, so it can bounce that signal from there and then bounce back in the same kind of direction. So we can increase it to about 800 meters. It might be difficult to do a full 1 kilometer range, and it depends on the kind of data that we're working at. But immediately, there is no direct path. You would have to put a signal sender in the middle of that to increase the range.
Okay, perfect. And Alexa, it doesn't look like we have any other questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that concludes our Q&A portion of the webinar. Thank you, Alexa, and everyone who was able to attend today. If you would like to review any portion of this webinar, you can now download the slide deck, like we mentioned earlier, and a video recording will also be sent to you via email once it becomes available as well. Thank you again, and if you would like more information, please visit us online at eandm.com.